All right, welcome to this video. I am so pumped for this video, guys. This is going to be your custom hybrid marketing game plan and roadmap. So this is going to be the overview video to help crystallize this rather than releasing just little bullet points, to help focus. I'm laying it all out here. But please, my big ask is that you have no preconceived notions as you read down the screen, and as as you're listening to me, really paying attention to each little thing I'm saying and not getting distracted by I wonder what this means down here, or there's no way I could ever do this or that. What I'm going to share with you in this video is just a very simple overview of what you're going to do to get your very next or your first large spread wholesale deal in the next 60 to 90 days. That is my goal, or less. I've had so many people do it in 30, 42, 45 days, but I like to be very conservative. And so 60 to 90 days of intense, consistent action. I want you to go get that first 15, 18, 22, 25K wholesale deal done. And that is so possible. I want you to believe that deep down in your heart. I know that it's possible. I've seen it time and time again. I don't care if you're an introvert, afraid to talk to people. I'm an introvert myself. I don't care if you have an accent or you think you sound a little silly and that you don't have confidence. If you've never been successful at anything, I know that you can do this. I've seen it in my own life, and I've seen it with countless clients that I've worked with. And guys, guys and gals, I want you to know that you can do this, okay? And so here's what we're going to talk about in this video. Again, this is going to be an overview of this, hybrid game plan. And so what you're going to do, depending on if you're going at this business, alone or with a partner or full-time or part-time, you're going to combine preferably two of these roadmaps, two of these plans together. And depending on your budget, like how much you have to run this as a real business, marketing expenses, operating expenses, you as the CEO, and of course you can reach out to me via Voxer if you have any questions, are going to make the decision on if there's anywhere, and I'm going to give you some tips like, hey, if you need to cut a little bit of expense until you hit that first deal, here's probably what you would do. And so this is going to launch kind of a new custom hybrid series here of what I'm doing in my own business, and also my most successful clients over this last almost decade, over 8 years. Time and time again, clients of mine that have gone on to do amazing things, like staying in touch with them, what's working, what's not working, and then even in my own business, like what absolutely is working. The economy is changing, the market's changing. I got into this business in 2009 when we were just, kind of in the middle or, going through the last crash. So I've been in cold markets and I've been in hot markets. And so here's what we're going to do. In this video, we're going to go over, like I said, the overview process just to help crystallize what you're going to be doing for marketing, okay? To crystallize what you're going to be doing. And the cool part for you as you watch this video, I think this is going to make a lot of sense. And then there's going to be videos kind of breaking each part down, like how you do each of these things. So there's three main things that we're going to be focused on: probate, driving for dollars, and organic outreach. You're going to likely be doing all three or two of the three, and in very rare cases, maybe just one of the three. And the cool part is they incorporate marketing, prospecting, and networking / relationships, which is the only type of marketing in a sense that you can possibly do. I don't care if you're doing radio or PPC or direct mail or cold calling, or, really when it comes down to getting motivated seller leads, doing real estate deals, they come from these three avenues, and Above kind of incorporates all three of these to give us that best chance of success. And the cool part here, guys, is you from this, and the cool part here is each one of these things at a very, very minimum should be able to produce you, as you get going, about a deal a month. And I'm speaking very roughly, very generally there, but about a deal a month. So in your market, and these because of the nature of these marketing channels, these marketing methods, these roadmaps, and the way that I'm going to be teaching you, these are typically larger spread deals. So like in Ohio, in my market, I'd say probably the average wholesaler, makes about $10,000 per deal. My average is typically 12 to 15 to sometimes 18K. So it kind of fluctuates in there. So larger spread deals than the average. Now, if you're in California, that deal average might be 37,000. If you're, in Texas or Florida, it might be 20 or 25,000 as your average deal. But for the sake of numbers, let's say $15,000 per deal is your average, okay? So each one of these kind of methods that we're going to be incorporating into your plan, at the very least, as you get going, maybe not the first month, right? I want to be very conservative here. But as you get going, should be able to produce you at least one deal a month. And that may not seem life-altering, but if you implement the probate plan to the core and you're netting a 15K deal every month, or every other month, that is incredible. Now, for driving for dollars, if you are implementing the way that I'm going to show you, it should net you 1 to 2 deals per month. And if your average deal split is 15 or 20 grand, that's another 15 to 30, 40,000, depending on what market you're in. And same thing with organic outreach. And this may take a month or 2 or 3 to really start consistently, not to necessarily hit your first deal, but to consistently from this outreach, there are deals coming in on a monthly basis. And again, those are a lot of times larger spread deals because they come from relationships most of the time, deals that other people aren't, hunting down. They're from a relationship. They're not just on necessarily a list. So if you kind of look at this, it's like, wow, that could be 15K here, 15 to 30 or 40K here, 15K here. So just by following this simple plan, let's be very conservative. This is your method to hitting 15K a month, 20K a month. If you're hitting a little over 20K a month is 240K a year. So just a little bit over 20K a month and you're at $250,000 a year. Okay. As you get, closer to that $25,000 a month, you're at $300,000 a year. And so we don't have to do anything crazy. And there's ways that we can keep all of these very lean. And again, please do not have any, notions of there's no way I'm going to do this or that or this or that. I'm going to keep this drop dead simple. But again, for the sake of this video, what I want to do is just, again, kind of show you the power and show you where we're headed with marketing. So if you take this serious, I want you to really take this serious more than you have taken anything serious, in business before. Because if you do, again, my sincere first goal for you, if you've never done a deal, is to get your first 15K deal done in the next 60 to 90 days or less. And if you have consistency and tenacity and just day by day, doing the work, you will get there, okay? So I want you to just take a leap of faith, take my word for it, and let's put in the work, and then therefore we'll reap the fruit of that labor in a short time to come, and it'll be oh so worth it. All right, so for probate, you're going to go through, you're going to zoom out of this roadmap, and you're going to go into the probate roadmap and watch videos 1 through 9. It's about 10 hours of content. And at the end of the day, probate is inherited houses. These have been one of my favorite lead sources for over 10 years. They typically are larger spread deals. There's less resistance. And I go into a lot more detail on what probate is, why it's been consistently my best lead source, one of my best lead sources, and a huge pillar in my business. And again, I've vetted this through so many just counterparts in the business who have been doing this a lot longer than I have, 20, 19, 20, 30 years. And probate is always one of their top lead sources. It just doesn't change. So there's a reason why people who have been doing this business 20 and 30 years consistently love probate, okay? So I want you to think of this as your sniper approach. And I know that might sound a little like graphic, but like this is your laser sniper pinpointed approach. We're going deep. There's a saying that the riches are in the niches. And probate is like a sub niche. It's like a special niche within real estate. And there's just wonderful deals in there. Okay. And so, I do this. I'm in a smaller market here in Ohio. I do this in 5 counties. And so I do about 200 probate leads a month, which is 50 a week. So in the grand scheme of things, I'm not sending out 30,000 pieces of mail and blanketing the entire town, right? It's a lot more laser specific. So there's about 200. Now, my minimum I recommend is 100. If you're not doing at least 100 probates a month in your market, like you need more counties or you need to do something else because you're just not going to be doing enough to have enough volume and you'll probably get discouraged. So, out of 100 to 200 probate cases, so I'm just going to say 200 because that's what I do, you are likely going to do probably 1 or 2 probate deals, some per month. As you get going, okay? And like anything, people all the time expect like this massive result their first month. And despite what they say, if it doesn't happen that first month, they completely doubt everything, doubt themselves, get super discouraged, and it's hard to be faithful and go forward. And I just want you to be aware that like it may take 2 months to get this going, like to really see it. And so if you're not willing to put 8 to 12 weeks worth of work into it, it's really going to be hard for you to be an entrepreneur because it's so hard to break free from the shackles of, and it is a blessing. Like the corporate world is a blessing where you have that paycheck every Friday or every other Friday. But it's a completely different mindset, in the entrepreneurial world where you have to put in work for weeks on end, and you don't know if that result's going to come. You think it is, and a lot of times the actions just start to fall off, despite what we say, despite our best intentions. And so I say that to just say that, like, goodness gracious, if you will be consistent with probate, whether you're doing 100 to 200 probate leads a month, very, very likely you are going to do 1 probate deal a month and $15,000. So is it worth being consistent? And all you're going to be doing is getting these records from the county, which is free if they're online or typically in person. You can pay for these leads. I highly recommend I go into deep detail of how you can use the legal notices, of how you can use virtual assistants now on Upwork and Fiverr. You should be able to get these leads almost for free or maybe for a couple $100 a month if you're having a virtual assistant help you. There are third-party lead providers where you can purchase these leads. That is pretty good. And that's a lot of times going to run you about $1,000 for 3 months worth of data. So like when you break it down, it's like $300 a month, but I highly recommend you getting the probates for free directly from the county, right from the horse's mouth. And so anyways, long story short, what are we doing with probate? You are simply mailing, and I go into extreme detail about this in the probate roadmap. There's 9 videos plus a couple bonus videos, about, 10 hours of content, step by step, and all the envelopes, the letters, the resources, everything, what to say, all that stuff. I just want to give you the high-level overview. You are going to get about 25 to 50 records a week, and you're going to mail a simple letter to the executor and to the attorney of these estates, okay? So just a little bit of direct mail. The cool part, this is easy eventually after you do your first or second deal to outsource to a family or friend. It's a wonderful task for someone else to do. Don't outsource it from the beginning. Do it yourself, and then after you get the results, then have somebody help you do that. So you're going to just send a simple little letter out to these 25 to 50 estates. Okay. Then you're going to send an email to the attorney and a letter, and we're going to call the executor or personal rep, and we're going to call the attorney. Very simple phone call. If they don't answer, we have a very simple message, and not the attorneys, but the executors, we shoot them a little text message. And then literally, these are such hot leads, we want to follow up with them 2 to 3 times a week, pretty proactively, because most of them are going to be selling within 90 days, and it's very important to stay top of mind. And it's a matter of just doing that consistently, week in, week out. And then like the next week, when your new 25 leads or 50 leads come out, it's just going back to the last week and really, again, 2 or 3 times a week for the first entire month. You want to be going back a couple weeks and getting a touch of all the people you still haven't made contact with. So that's what we're doing with the probate system. And then every 90 days, we might send a postcard out to them, but that's later on. Now, the ways to cut cost on this, probate is going to cost you anywhere from free to like all the way up to $1,000 a month if you're paying for leads, paying your mom or sister or wife or husband to stuff and stamp the letters, and paying someone from the Philippines to do the calls for you. Then probate might cost you $1,000 a month or $1,500. But if it's netting you a $15,000 deal, that's a pretty good ROI, right? But if you're doing it yourself, probate should cost you like somewhere around $300 to $500 a month or less. And the way that you can cut costs is you could just say, hey, I'm not going to do, as powerful as they are, I'm not going to do the letter or the postcards in the beginning. I'm just going to get these records and I'm going to email the crap out of these probate attorneys and the probate executors, and I'm just going to call them and text them. And so that is how you work the probate side of it. Okay. It really takes about 10, 15 hours a week max to run the probate system. And it's going to net you about $15,000, a deal. Again, that's a rough average depending on your market. They tend to be larger spread deals. So if your average deal in your market is $10,000, you're probably going to hit a $15K deal. If your average deal is $20,000, these are going to be like $30,000. So is that worth it to go into that roadmap, watch the 10 hours of content, figure out how to get the probates for free from your county, and become the go-to person? Is that worth it? Yes, because out of 200 probates a month in your market, you absolutely, my friend, you absolutely can do one deal a month. So would $15,000 a month change your life? Would that be worth it for you? Consider that as an option here. Okay? All right. Thing number 2, avenue number 2. And again, it's best if you can pair up 2 of these. So I want to give you personal responsibility. I want you to be a decisive decision maker. Submit this to prayer if that's something that you do. Talk to a spouse if you're in this with a spouse or business partner, or if you're going at this alone, take a day or so and really think on this, and then commit to at least 2 of these, if not all 3, depending on your budget. Okay. The beautiful thing here, these are all very budget friendly. I mean, you almost cannot to build a business within 90 days that is yielding you almost $20K a month or more, $250,000 a year, for basically spending like less than $1,000 a month. I mean, it just doesn't happen, right? Like, this is almost as low cost as you can go. And with each of these methods, where there's a will, there's a way. I've seen so many people get resourceful, especially when your back is up against the wall, when it's important enough to you. And so I would just encourage you with each of these, really think through like what you truly can see yourself committing to, because they all work. I know people that have built 7-figure businesses off of each of these. And I've been doing these long enough. Every single one of these is absolutely working in this exact market, this exact economy, and it works like gangbusters. It's just a matter of like your personality and like truly like, if you do the work consistently, you will get the results. And if you don't, you won't. And it's very easy to blame it on the market or like, well, I don't know. And so I just want to implore you with the truth. I know this might sound a little, blunt, but I just want to implore you as you're going through this here. So driving for dollars. You may have tried this before, writing little addresses on a notepad. The key here is volume. So if probate was the sniper approach, this is our volume. Time and time again, I was just interviewing a 7-figure wholesaler, one of the GOATs, who's been around for over 20 years. And he was saying if he had to start all over, this would be the very first thing he would do. This would be the very second thing he would do. Okay, so just, and for me, it's just wonderful affirmation and confirmation of like, yep, that's exactly what I feel too. And so I just, again, as your coach and mentor, I want to pass that along. This is not just Stephen Howell's opinion. This is not just, my opinion. I vet a lot of this stuff through people who have been around for multiple market cycles, okay? There's a lot of conflicting information if you're watching TikTok and YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. And I mean, there's just so much information and half of it contradicts each other. And again, I will, gladly admit, this is not the only way. There's a million other things you can do in real estate, million other things you can do in wholesaling. This is not the only way, okay? But this is such a powerful way for like less than $1,000 a month, or just over $1,000 a month if you incorporate everything, to really start generating 15, 20, 25,000 a month. And I know for me, especially when I started, and I know for the majority of you, if how bad do you want to make 15 or 20,000 a month, like truly, and what would even just hitting that first deal in 90 days from now or less do for you? Because the cool part I want you guys to remember is like, especially this is true when you don't really have the marketing budget up front, is like, oh my gosh, all I got to do is hit that first deal of 15,000. And my recommendation to reinvest for marketing consistently is 10 to 15%. So if you hit a 15K deal, put $1,500 back in the business. Well, with $1,500, you can pretty much do everything on here. Okay. If you put 20% back in the business, well, then you for sure can do everything on here. And so like, now you're not worried about your marketing budget and you're feeling great. And that's going to fuel your next deals and your next deals and your next deals. And it's just going to compound plus your confidence. So anyways, driving for dollars. I digress. Driving for dollars, the key is volume. Now, it's so much more preferred to do this in person. If you're doing this in a virtual market, you can still drive for dollars through Deal Machine, and you can absolutely do it. But I prefer in person, in your car, actually pinning rundown, distressed properties. And let me break this down. You may have not thought about it this way before, and I want you to think resourcefully, creatively about this. And again, I just want to do a high level, and then we're going to go again in another roadmap, kind of like with the probate, where there's like the 9 videos you can watch, 10 hours of content, which is the granular. I think it's really important. Real estate sometimes can be so complex, and I do my best to really try to, crystallize it so you can know where you're going and not get too lost in the weeds. So anyways, driving for dollars, the key is pinning 500 properties a week. You may have had a notebook on your front seat and been, driving and written down 5 addresses, 7 addresses. You might do a deal here and there, but you have to have volume. This is absolutely a numbers business, because the truth is most people don't want to sell their house. And the ones who do want to sell their house don't want your lowball offer. They don't want to sell it for a massive discount. It is absolutely a numbers game, and we're not trying to change anyone's mind. But it is absolutely true that there are properties every single day in your market that are a thorn in somebody's side, and they want to take that house to the proverbial pawn shop and just get cash for it. They know if they fixed it up, they could get more for it. They know if they listed it with a realtor and waited forever and maybe did a little bit of work to it, they probably would get more for it. They don't want to. The same way where, you may have old items in your house and you say enough is enough and you sell it for a fraction of the price on Facebook Marketplace. You're not so worried about that item. You're done with it. You want the cash. You want to be done with it. And the same thing happens with houses. And I want to ingrain that in your mind. It's happening every day in your market. And why are you not benefiting from it? And why are you not helping people? That's kind of a little question I want you to have for yourself. because you could be netting, 15, 25, 30K a month just by being willing to weed through, a few hundred opportunities and find out the handful of ones that you can help with. We're not trying to talk anybody into anything, change anyone's mind, but you have to give yourself enough opportunity. A lot of times people try one or two things, generate 5 or 10 leads, all 5 or 10 leads tell people to go pound sand, and they're like, oh my goodness, like this business is a nightmare, or this business doesn't work, or my market's different, or I must just really stink at sales. Like I can't do this. I just got rejected 10 times. And it's just so defeating. And so I want to implore you guys with proper perspective. Okay. So driving for dollars, 500 properties a week. There's a little app. It's called Deal Machine. I'll have the link in the roadmap or eventually below this video. At the time of this recording, I just spoke with their head of operations. They did a re-conglomerate of the pricing, which they made it even better. Now you can pin 10,000 properties per month and export them, which is what we do to skip trace them, because I don't do it in Deal Machine. And it's $99 a month. So like this tool saves you so much time. You have the little phone open on your app, the app open on your phone sitting on your lap. And it pulls up like a Google Street View, and it tells you all about the house, if there's a mortgage, if it's absentee owned. And basically, you see a rundown house, a distressed house, the mailbox is knocked over, there's a blue tarp on the roof, overgrown hedges, and the grass hasn't been trimmed in a while, there's a car parked in the yard, or it just looks distressed or vacant. You just tap the little button on the phone, and it adds the house to a list. And we've gotten this down to a science that in most markets around the country, you can pin about 50 to 80 properties per hour. Let me say that again, 50 to 80 properties per hour is the average. So if you go in your little car or big car 2 days a week, let's just say Monday and Tuesday, and Monday you drive for 3 hours, you should be able to pin close to 250 properties. And let's say Tuesday you hop in your little or big car and you drive for another 3 hours. Okay, you should be able to pin another 200 or 300 properties. Okay, so 500 properties really is about 2 days worth of driving for 2 or 3 hours per clip. Okay, now if you have a full-time job, you may not be able to do that, but how can you be resourceful? Can somebody do the driving for you and then you do the marketing and the calling? How can you get creative? Okay, very minimum. I'll put a minimum on here of 250 properties. If you're not going to commit to driving and pinning 250 properties a week, which is how many a month? 1,000. Out of 1,000 properties a month that are distressed, this is a unique custom list to you. You're going to learn your neighborhoods, learn your zip codes. So powerful. Again, one of the biggest vets in this business is like, this is the number one thing they would do if they started over. And just time and time again, this is like the hottest list that's not on everybody else's list. It's a unique list, so powerful. The deals are larger spread because, again, they're unique, 1,000 properties, 250 a week. If you're not going to do 250 properties, which is like 2, 3, 4 hours of driving, don't do this strategy. You're wasting your time, okay? Like, I want you to think big numbers, volume, okay? I'm just going to be raw and real. Better yet, do 500. Give yourself an even better chance, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to skip trace these records for 15 cents a record, okay? Over at Batch Skip Tracing, 15 cents a record. So if you have 1,000 properties that you pinned in a month, how much is that for skip tracing? $150, right? If you have 2,000 properties, which is what I recommend, $300 to skip trace them. Now you go over to Mojo Dialer, which is $150 dialing a dialer, and it's gonna call 3 people at a time. Okay, and you're also gonna text them. Now I text through a platform called Launch Control. Launch Control is $500 a month. It's a little pricey. but it allows me to text everybody in an amazing way. Mojo is $150 a month. So right there, we're at $650. Deal Machine is $100. We're at $750. Okay. And then it's going to cost me about $300 a month to skip trace. So this strategy at this level of 2,000 unique distressed properties a month is going to cost me about $1,100. Okay. I want you to think about that. What can you sell, in a garage sale, Facebook Marketplace, to come up with a little revenue for your business? And again, you might not hit a deal your first month. Most people are like, oh, if I don't hit a deal in 2 weeks, I'm over. You have to go into this with a mindset of, I'm going to do this until it hits a deal. And again, if you commit, like we're talking about building a $250,000 business and then eventually a $500,000 and then $1 million business potentially, depending on how big you want to go. And most people, if you just say like, do you think you can create a business out of nothing? Most people are like, no, I'm not that foolish. Like I know it takes a little bit to make a little bit, but like that's kind of like secretly like what they're wanting to do. And it's like, this is about as lean as it gets. Now, how could you curb the cost here? Well, you could not get the texting platform. That saves you $500. So now instead of $1,100, you're down to $600. And you could just not text them. You could just literally call them on the dialer. You could not get the dialer, and you could call and text them one by one. That's going to be very hard to do with 2,000 people. And then we're not going to send them a postcard, because to send out a postcard is about 50 cents a postcard. So it's going to cost you another $1,000 to send them all a postcard. But even without a postcard, that's going to drum up another 1 or 2 deals. So like, you do this consistently, pin 500 properties a week, call them and text them all, you're going to hit 1 to 2 deals. Again, do this every week consistently. And that's the hard part. You have to figure out how you can be consistent, because it's just simple. If you will be consistent, you will get the results. If you are not consistent, you won't get the results. So the one thing I love about this business and I hate about this business is it forces you to become disciplined, which if you do it is a huge blessing for other parts of your life. But it's painful to become disciplined because we don't like to be disciplined. It sucks. But it is a massive, massive blessing. And I'm not perfect in this, guys. I don't want to be up here on a pedestal. I make mistakes every week. I don't follow through on things. Like, I am not perfect. So just do what you can from where you are. Hold yourself to a standard. And a lot of times that's why people who get the best results sometimes in the beginning are at rock bottom, because it's like they have no other choice but to just do it, no matter how painful. So I say all this because, again, even without sending a postcard, $600 to $1,000, $1,100 a month, like, it's like, would you give up $600 or $1,100? And, again, you're driving here about, 5 to 10 hours a week, let's just say. Oh, and there's gas in here. So if you include gas, this strategy really is between $1,000 and $1,500. Let's just say that to be conservative. Okay. So about 10 hours of drive time, 5 to 10 hours. Again, you could cut this in half, but no more. 250 is the lowest I want you to go. And you're calling them all and texting them all. Okay. And really you want to carve out. So if you have 5 or 10 hours here, you really want to have 10 to 15 to 20 hours here. Okay. So again, don't let the upper end of that scare you. Focus on the lower end of that if you have a full-time job. Okay. But that's going to, by day 60, day 90, you're going to be doing, like, if you're doing 2 $15,000 deals a month, you're now making $30,000 a month. You're not worried about spending $1,500 a month on this, right? You're not worried about it. Potentially, you're able to, alleviate your schedule, and you may like what you do in your full-time job. I'm not telling you to quit your job. But again, I want you to see the volume. So this is laser, this is volume, but these are the 2 best lists. It saves you from you don't have to have 1 million pieces of software. You can have a free Gmail and a $10 a month open phone subscription. You don't need an LLC. You don't need a fancy business card. You don't need a logo. You don't need a CRM system. You could just keep it very, very minimal. Okay? So again, for driving for dollars, you're going to go into the roadmap on that kind of talks about how to do this in a more granular basis. But like, honestly, I just gave you the meat and potatoes there. Don't overthink it. Just do it. That's just, you just want to get into action mode as fast as possible. You can think and think and think. And I was a victim of this for so long. And I don't like to use that word victim, but like self-victim for so long. Of just procrastinating, perseverating, thinking over and over. It's not going to make you any money. It's not going to get any results for you or your family. You have to do the work. All right, my friends. So now we're going to go on to organic outreach. And again, I know you've probably been staring at this like, what? Like t-shirts, bandit signs, like are some of these outdated? Like realtors, like what? All right. So this is going to be, so if probate is anywhere from like $200 a month to $1,000, depending on if you're paying for leads, having your mom or neighbor stuff and stamp letters, computer paper, ink, skip tracing the phone numbers. Probate is going to be $200 to $1,000 a month, depending on what you want to do yourself. You could not do the mail and just do the phone calls. So again, and that's going to at least, out of 200 probate leads a month, going to at least net you one deal. Out of 2,000 properties here, this strategy is going to cost you, again, $1,000 to $1,500 conservatively. And probate's going to take you about 15 hours a week, okay? Driving for dollars is going to take you about 15 to 25 or 30 hours a week, okay? But you're probably going to do more on the upside of, because it's a numbers game, more volume. You're probably going to do more like 2 deals for like 20 to 40,000, okay? So if you can do this business full time, you want to do both. Now, the reason I share what I just did is because organic outreach is going to be free to about $100 or $200 a month. So again, all this stuff is very budget friendly. Like, come hell or high water, like there's a will, there's a way. Like, you want to make $250,000 a year. What can you sell? What can you do? How can you come up with $1,000 or $2,000 to put towards marketing? How can you get resourceful? How can you tag in a friend? Like, let's go. For this next like 90 days, 6 months, like let's change your life like once and for all. Like, let's do the dang thing. So organic outreach is beautiful. It's free. And so this doesn't have to take a lot of time. And so this can be a great little add-on strategy. Now, I will say, if you say, Steven, I'm just not going to do this and I'm not going to do these 2 things, highly don't recommend that. But if you say that, you can focus just on this. However, it's probably going to take you, in all honesty, a little bit longer to hit that first deal. Once you hit that first deal, you can reinvest, what do we say, 10 to 15%. But it might take you 3 to 6 months to get that first deal, just being honest. You might get lucky and hit it in 2 weeks, but like it honestly might take you 3 to 6 months. So just being very realistic there. So it's free, but it could take a little longer. Now, on the flip side of that, don't go to the other end of the spectrum and say, okay, well, I'm just not going to do this 3 to 6 months. I don't have that type of time. I need results now. I'm just not going to do these things. These strategies must suck. That's also not what I'm saying. So if you can, and again, you're the CEO of your business, not me, and I want you to be personally responsible, and I want you to make decisions, based off the information that I'm sharing here on what you're going to commit to. Feel free to run it by me. Feel free to, let me know. But like this, I wouldn't be sharing this stuff with you if it's a waste of your time. Okay. So, what I would recommend is adding, maybe not necessarily all of these, because if you're just doing absolutely everything, you're going to be a little bit spread too thin. So pick 2 of these and just absolutely commit to them, and then maybe add on, 1 or 2 of these. And then eventually, as you're getting results, reinvesting 10 or 15%, getting more and more knowledgeable, more and more comfortable, then start adding some of these extra things on, and then more and more deals are just going to start coming to you instead of you having to seek so hard for the deals. Okay. So before I actually go on the organic free outreach here, all of these 3 things incorporate the only 3 types of really business attraction that you can have in this real estate business. Any type of motivated seller leads are going to come from marketing you do. Think marketing, think cold calling, texting, direct mail, bench signs, newspaper ads, radio ads, TV, Google ads, Facebook ads, SEO. People are seeing your marketing and coming to you, inbound leads. That's eventually what you want to buy into your business by being able to do some of those things later down the line. So you're not, you can keep doing these things, and I highly recommend. But later, there's other inbound strategies that you can bring into your business. Do not focus on that right now. It's so powerful to learn this, learn it right, get revenue in your business. You can't just buy your way to success or something like that. This is how you earn it and learn the business, keep expenses low. But I just wanted to explain the only types of things that are going to bring in leads, which is the oxygen, the lifeblood to your business. It's marketing, prospecting. Prospecting is like handing out flyers, door hangers, bandit signs, kind of like cold texting, cold calling. That's a little bit of prospecting. And then there's like networking, relationship building. Some of the best deals ever in this business come from relationships. And just by having like one phone call a day, over time can start to mean a deal a month in your business. So let me ask you right now, if you could make one simple phone call a day, a 5-minute conversation, build a new friendship, connection, networking thing, it's nothing like this big sales pitch, and you could just do one call a day. And in 90 days from now, like you're starting to get like one $15,000 deal every month. Like, would you say that that's worth it for the rest of your life in business, as long as you keep up this activity? And then a couple of years from now, you might be doing like a deal a week or a deal every other week, and you're not doing any marketing. They just know you and they're coming to you. And maybe some of these relationships send you 10 deals a year. Like, is that worth it? And most people just procrastinate that out, and they're like, yeah, I'll get to it, but then they never do. So why not build the right habit from day one, right? So why not build that right habit right up front, okay? And so what we're doing here, realtor pocket listings, you're simply contacting and connecting with one realtor a day. So that if that means you need to call 3 realtors, 5 realtors, 7 realtors, it does. But really, you're calling 1 or 2 or 3, and you're having a quick little 5-minute conversation with them. And actually, before I explain this to you, I think it's going to behoove me to explain this little part for you, and then I'm going to come back up and re-explain these, because I want to make sure I hit this. I don't want you to be lost or tuning me out here before I get to this, because this is so important. So here's what I want you guys to focus on. By picking all of these strategies, or 2 of these strategies, or maybe it's probate and a little bit of this, or maybe it's driving for dollars and a little bit of this or this, okay? Basically, here's what I want you to focus on. And this is how you can measure if you are going to be doing deals or not. I want you to focus on contacts, not phone calls. Contacts. What is a contact? A contact is when you are speaking with the owner of the house. Yes, I'm calling about 123 Oak Street. Yeah, are you the owner of 123 Oak Street? Yes, I was looking for the owner of 123 Oak Street. I'm not sure if I have the right number. And I'm like, yes, who's calling? And then you can kind of get into it, right? Or they're like, no, I don't own this. Like, what are you talking about? So if John Smith is the owner of 123 Oak Street and you call and you are speaking with John Smith, that is a contact. I don't care if he's like, yeah, I just fixed up the house. The house is, worth $200. I want $280, buddy, and I'm never going to sell for less than $280. I just fixed up the entire house. Why do you people keep calling me? Don't call me anymore. That's a contact. Now, if I just leave a voicemail, I didn't speak with anybody, and I sent them a text message, that's not a contact. Or if I have the wrong number, that's not a contact. So contact is speaking truly with the owner of the house, whether they want to sell or whether they don't. And there's really just a couple buckets they're going to go into, and I talk about this down here, okay? So I want you to focus on contacts, not calls. 10 contacts per day, no matter what. That's the rule, 5 days a week. Now, you may have to adjust this slightly if you're only doing this business part-time or with a partner or whatever else is. But to the best of your human ability, again, don't walk every day with guilt about this, but like to the best of your ability, and if you have to work up towards this, work up to it. But as soon as humanly possible, this is where you need to be if you want to get these results, okay? 10 contacts a day, and so that might mean 15 phone dials. The average person who is hand dialing numbers one by one can typically make about 20 to 25 dials in an hour in the real estate industry. So to get 10 contacts, you might need to make 25 dials. You might need to make 35 dials. You might need to make 50 to 75 dials. Oh my gosh, Steven. 75 dials? It's really about 3 hours of just intense, focused calling. Again, that's extreme. If you make 75 dials, you're probably going to talk with more than 10 people. So if you think about this, it's really about an hour or two a day of calling, because a lot of times you're going to hit 10 contacts within about 25 to 40-ish dials, okay, which is about 2 hours. So 2 hours a day, 2 hours a day, 2 hours a day, you need to be focused on speaking with people. I don't care if they tell you to go pound sand or they want an offer. It's the most amazing deal ever. Speak with them. Focus on the contacts, whether it's a yes or no or maybe so. I don't care. Contacts, not calls. That means you're going to be speaking with 50 homeowners a week. You're going to be speaking with 200 a month. Out of speaking with 200 homeowners a month, really speaking with them, and as you learn the art of these very simple conversations, very likely you are going to do 1 to 2 deals a month. And again, $15,000 a month average, let's just say $15,000 to $30,000 a month. Is that worth 2 hours a day? Yes. Now, the other little metric is this is a minimum. It's going to be harder for you to hit this at first, but month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5, month 6, you're going to have so many past leads that you're following up with. You're going to be crushing this. 2 offers a day, minimum 10 offers a week. Because again, if you're speaking with 50 people, right? I'm not naive to say that like every single person is going to want an offer. You might speak with John Smith, who owns Oak Street, and he's just like, hey, I just fixed up the house. I don't want to sell. Leave me the heck alone, and blah, blah, blah. Like, sure, I know there's some people out there that teach, hey, still make an offer, still write a contract, still send it to them. You never know if they'll change their mind. You can, if that's your prerogative. And he's like, I want 280 for the house. The house is worth 200. Do you really want to go offer the guy 120 and he's saying he needs 280? You could just say, hey, I don't want to insult you, but like I'm going to be somewhere like 120 to 160, which I know you're going to laugh at. And so you're probably better off listing it with a realtor. If something changes, have a good day. See ya. Okay. So like somebody like that, you're not going to make an offer to, or, you're speaking to a little old lady in the house and she's like, I don't want to sell. I planned on living here till the day I die. Like, thanks for calling, kind sir, but I don't want to sell. I don't want an offer. I'm not going to like force myself to make an offer, right? Just to hit a number. So 10 offers a week, that still means you're speaking with 200 homeowners a month and you're making 40 offers, a month. You're going to get 1 or 2 contracts. So these are the metrics I want you to focus on. Again, these are not going to be perfect your first month as you're implementing these things, right? But by month 2, month 3, month 4, these are going to be very easy to hit, right? Because follow-up is such a powerful thing. We plant the seed. So this is the name of the game, guys. Like, we have the 2 hottest lists you can have. We have volume. We have laser pinpoint. And we have some free relationship stuff, and the best deals come from relationships. We have all 3 types of kind of like lead generation you can gather, they all fall under these buckets, and these are all incorporated up here. This is like $1,000 a month or way less. This is, $1,000 to $1,500. And again, there's ways to cut corner. You can cut this number in half. You don't have to have launch control. The texting platform, you can literally just call them. So you can get this down to like $500 or $600 a month. And then this is very low cost. So I want to make this as simple as possible. And this is just the truth. These are just the facts. It's not about, I'm not trying to just craft something that's palatable. Like, I want to give you the real information. Moving on from the metrics. So just simple thing. Again, you need a legal pad. You don't need this fancy CRM system. The leads are either hot, warm, cold, or dead. So basically, you need to figure out if they're wanting to sell. Are they the owner, and are they wanting to sell now or later? If they want to sell later, you mark them for follow-up. Try to figure out if, even if they say, hey, call me next year, call me in a couple months, let them know you're a house buyer in the area. You work with a few partners, and, you typically try to buy a house for a little bit of a discount that maybe needs some TLC, maybe needs a little work, and you're trying to buy for a little bit of a discount. Like, try to find out, like, if their property needs a little bit of updating, if when the time comes, do they think they're just going to be listing it with a realtor? They want to squeeze all the juice out of it as possible. They're not in any rush. They really don't have a problem with the property, and they're probably wanting like full price retail, probably going to list it. If they're like, yeah, that sounds like me, just say, yeah, well, it sounds like we're probably not going to be the best fit for you then. Do you happen to own any other houses? Do you have any family, friends, neighbors that have a thorn in their side house? Notice how I shifted that conversation. Like, I'm not trying to force something that's not there. And then I'd mark them as a cold lead, right? And maybe with cold leads, you give them a call in 3 to 6 months. Hey, Johnny, just checking in. Did you end up selling that house on the MLS on Main Street? No, you didn't. Okay, you're not anything. Well, hey, we're still buying, but when we last spoke, you were kind of probably wanting full price. I'm an investor. I don't think that's going to work still. Has anything changed? No, it hasn't. Okay, great. Do you happen to know of any neighbors, family, friends that do have a thorn in the side property, vacant house, hoarder house, junker house? I'll pay you a $2,000 or $3,000 referral fee if you do. Okay? So are they in the retail MLS bucket, and are they now or later? Okay, if they're later, you put them in the right buckets here. If they are wanting to sell now or even later, but they have something going on, they're like, yeah, the house is pretty run down. They have to have a problem in their situation or in the house. Well, these are all distressed houses, and these are all distressed situations. So it's kind of interesting that, like, we're already fishing in the right pond, right? So, like, that is just so powerful. I want you to understand that. So, if they want to sell later, you just kind of plant the seed. You want to be super likable, get off the phone in 5 minutes, make sure they write down your phone number, save your number in the phone, make them write down your email, and just be like, hey, like, you want to sell in 3 months from now? Is it okay if I check in 2 months? Like, we're an investor. We pay cash as is. I want to take care of you, make sure this is a good fit. I might not be your best option. You could list it with a realtor. You could do it for sale by owner, but you mentioned the house needs a lot of work. That's exactly what we buy. I'd love to touch base with you in 2 months. Great. See ya. Do you have any idea of what you might want for the property? When the time comes, or have you talked about that? Who are the decision makers? Oh, okay, cool. Write down a few notes on your notepad, mark it as a warm lead, and follow up with them in 2 months. Most people don't take notes, don't ask questions, and they certainly do not follow up. They'll just lose the information. You can, until you have 100 warm and hot leads, or at least 50, you do not need a CRM system. So save your couple $100 a month and just use a legal pad. Okay. So that's kind of where you're at. So it's hot if they want to absolutely sell now and there's a distressed situation going on. They're saying some right things. The 4 pillars of qualifying are the condition of the house, their timeline, the price, and their motivation, their driver, their pain. If it's checking most of those boxes or some of those boxes and they're saying they want to sell now, mark it as a hot lead, set up a time to go see it. Or if you're doing this virtual, call them back the next day and make a verbal offer, right? Like mark it as hot. So with all your leads, you're having a simple conversation and you're figuring out like, are they in the wholesale bucket or are they in the MLS bucket? Do they want to sell now or later? And if they do want to sell at any point, the 4 pillars of qualifying: condition, time frame, price, and motivation. Do they have one or more of those? And, do they have a problem situation, a problem house? Chances are if they don't have a problem, it's never going to be a deal. Because why would they want to take their house to the pawn shop? They could just list it. If the house is in pretty good shape, they're in no hurry, they haven't really thought of selling, you're wasting your time. Now, the only time you mark it as a dead lead is if they like literally curse you out and they're just wretchedly evil to you, or if they're like, hey, like the property has literally already sold. Hey, congratulations. We're trying to buy 2 more this month. Do you happen to know of any other properties that somebody's selling? I'll pay you $2,000 for a referral. We make decisions really quickly. We're easy to work with. Family, friends, neighbors, anybody have a thorn in the side house? I'd love to pick up another one this month. I'd love to pay you for it. Boom. So keep this stuff simple. Focus on the contacts. Focus on this very simple qualification method. And you're focusing on your warm and your hot leads. Your cold leads, you're kind of following up with every 3 to 6 months. Your warm leads, and your hot leads, you literally need to have a top 20 list of like, what are my top 20 opportunities that maybe could be something? And you need to be following up with these people. Write this down every 1 to 2 weeks. You need to be top of mind. So you always have to have a hot pad of your top 10, top 20, and what is the specific next action step that they're taking and you're taking? What are we waiting on, and what can you do to compress that time frame? What can you do to solve a problem? What can you do to help facilitate that, to answer a question? And just have they heard from you in the last 7 to 10 days? If not, call them and just sound like a goof on the phone if you have to. Just call them, let them know you're thinking of them, and just say, hey, just saying, hey, I know probably not much has changed, but I just, again, I wanted to touch base with you. If I can help in any way, when we last spoke, this is what's happening. Probably nothing has changed. I know we spoke about 10 days ago, but hope you have a happy Thanksgiving or whatever. All right, guys, this is like the meat of this business. Most people don't do these follow-ups. So this is where you stand out. And most people will not just consistently. I mean, you can kind of think like, ask yourself, especially if you've been doing this business a little bit, how many contacts did you make today? How many contacts did you make yesterday? How many contacts did you make last week? How many offers did you make? And so, it's very simple. Like, if you have this many probate leads a month and you're literally, hand dialing, or you're sending out the letters, and you have this many D for D, driving for dollars properties, and you're calling them and texting them, and you're talking with 10 people a day, you're going to be, out of 10 people you're talking to, you're going to be able to start very quickly. And especially all the people who are like, especially the warm ones, hey, call me in a couple weeks, Steven. Call me in a couple weeks. Call me in a month. Very quickly, you're going to start having conversations, and you're going to be able to make, 10 offers a week out of speaking with 50 people. So you just have to hold yourself accountable, like contacts, not calls. This is probably going to mean that you hand dial or on the dial or whatever, about 2 hours a day, about 50 to 65 calls. Sometimes it's only 20 calls. And this is how you're going to get there. You're not going to have to do these things forever. But you focus on this for the next year of your business, and you can have a $250,000 a year business. I mean, this is how we keep it simple without all the fluff, guys, and gals. All right, so I'm going to now go into the organic outreach, the free one here. And again, each of these, you have the probate roadmap. So if you commit to this, watch the 10 hours of content. start implementing. You're going to, so give yourself, and again, I'll ask you this question, is it worth it? If you spend a week going through the content and then another week like setting up to implement, so 2 weeks of kind of getting the system set up, and then by weeks 3 and 4 ready to implement, really by week 3. So kind of like 2 weeks of preparation max here, right? This is a little bit more granular. The riches are in the niches, right? Is that worth your 2 week, investment of time to kind of do something under the radar, different, zigging while everyone else is zagging, laser focused, laser sniper focused here. For driving for dollars, I mean, this, what I like about this, it adds quantity to the equation. And like literally you could download your Deal Machine app, $99 a month using my link. And literally you could be driving and pinning properties today, 250 properties today, 250 properties tomorrow. You can skip trace them over at batch skip tracing. It's going to take you 30 minutes to an hour to figure it out the first time. And then, and again, you can watch my videos for a little bit more streamlined instruction, but don't overcomplicate this. And then the first time you upload that list to Mojo Dialer, again, using Mojo Dialer takes an hour or so to set up the first time. But once it's set up, and you could literally be calling these leads within a couple of days. So this is going to, and if you watch all the content and you and I Voxer back and forth, it may take a week to kind of understand the concept. But that's really pushing it. You can be implementing this in a couple of days and have a lot of quantity in your business. It's just you have to plan and be consistent. What are the 2 days a week you're going to drive? How are you going to incorporate that in your schedule? And what are the other 5, 10, 15 hours a week you're going to be on the dialer and the texting platform, Launch Control, calling and texting these folks? Don't even worry about sending a postcard right now unless you have a much bigger marketing budget and you're okay. You see the power in this and you're just going to do it. I love Ballpoint Marketing. I'll talk about them in just a little bit. They're awesome. That's who I recommend getting your door hangers and potentially sending your postcards through them, or open letter marketing. But that's another topic. So speed of implementation, again, this is going to take you, a week or a couple of days to watch the content. And it's going to take about a week to go to the county, get the records, get the information. I mean, you could knock it out sooner. I'm just trying to be realistic here. And then this stuff, again, you can start implementing right away. So just wanted to kind of talk about that as well. And so for each of these, you can watch the specific roadmap for a little bit more granular. And then obviously you can check with me. But you're going to get the most learning by just feeling awkward and doing the dang thing yourself and then tweaking with me as you're doing it. Having the warm, cozy blanket, watching videos, it's not going to get you any results. And in fact, as you accumulate more information and the days go by and you're just watching videos, it's going to start getting really painful, because the more, I had a mentor share that, the more we accumulate information without putting into action, it causes us a lot of internal stress. And I want to help relieve that pressure valve for you and implore you to just boom, let's go get moving, even if you don't have all the answers. This is not what a lot of instructors, trainers, mentors, coaches, gurus are going to do. But this is going to help you get results faster. So off the high horse there, but it needs to be said. So organic outreach, best deals come from relationships. So first thing I'd recommend doing, realtor pocket listings. So simple thing to understand. I got this tip from a guy in the industry named Mark Lane, great investor. I think he's out of Iowa. This is just a powerful tip. There's a lot of investors that are in all the markets now, right? And there are just a certain percentage of sellers that just, no matter how good your mail piece is, how good your marketing, billboards, commercials, or whatever people are doing, sellers just sometimes don't trust investors. Think of the little old lady, or the crabby old guy, they just don't trust investors. They are traditionally so used to working with realtors. But in my market, the average house is about $150K. But like all the time, there are wholesale deals where we pick up a house for $25K, wholesale it for $40K. In certain little suburbs with like lower price houses, especially that are distressed houses, the realtors don't want to work with that stuff because like, on a, $25,000 house, a 3% realtor commission is $750. So it's just not worth their time. And then you factor in that the house is a little distressed. It doesn't matter to them if the house could be worth 80 when it's fixed up. Like, they don't want to list it for 40 or 50 or 25 because they're just not making any money, and like it's probably going to sit forever. They have to do 1 million showings. So what if you called a realtor a day or connected, again, focusing on the contact, not the calls, and just said, hey, I'm an investor in the blank blank Ohio area here or whatever your market is. We're doing a lot of marketing. We're helping a lot of sellers, and I'm looking for more deals. I'm buying. I work with a couple partners. We're buying 2 more this month. And anything you have, I'd love to double side your commission. And okay, this is going to come out of a lot of times out of the seller side of it, or shoot, we'll even pay it out of our deal because if we're making an average of $10,000 or $15,000 a deal, let's say, I'll pay $2,000 or $3,000. I'll gladly make 12 and give the realtor 3. That's better than them making $750. So, Mr. and Mrs. Realtor, I'll double side your commission. Do you have any pocket listings? Because these people that have houses like this that don't trust investors, they're calling the realtors. And so these realtors are getting calls and, hearing about these people. So you kind of have to like call the realtor and share this with them and help them to see that like you'll double side their commission. You and your partners can make quick decisions. You can close quickly. Go on faith. I'm telling you, I'm going to help you vet the deal and make sure the numbers are right. We're going to offer at a price that we for sure can move the deal. Like, hey, do you have any pocket listings? Any prices, that are typically lower than your average price range, or houses that are more distressed? Like, I'll just buy them and you take it as a pocket listing. I'll double side your commission and pay a little extra on top. And I'd love to be like just a pocket buyer that, swoops a couple of these up and is a nice, consistent income for you. Here's my cell. Here's my email. Let's go get lunch. Let's go get coffee. Connect. That's the key word. Connect. There's a book. I think it's by John Maxwell. Everyone communicates, few connect. Connect with one realtor a day. This should take you 30 to 45 minutes, maybe an hour. Try to stick to this as close as possible. It's absolutely free. Do this for 90 days. Connect with 90 or 100 realtors. And here's the thing. In an Excel spreadsheet or Google sheet or whatever, I want you to have a column for their first name, a column for their last name, a column for their email, a column for their phone number, and a column for the last time you spoke with them, and a column for notes. And then every 7 to 10 days, I want you to pull up that Excel spreadsheet, and I want you to just go through the list of a realtor. At first, it's going to be 1 realtor, then it's going to be 2, then 3, then 4, then 17, then 34. And I want you just to text them. They should be hearing from you every 2 weeks minimum. Every 2 weeks, they should be hearing from you, top of mind. Hey, it's Steven here. Just thought I'd check in, Rebecca. Didn't know if you had any new pocket listings. Goodness, it's October here. Like, I'm looking to pick up 2 more this month. Please keep me in mind. If you know of anyone that knows anyone, again, I'll pay a couple grand referral fee. I'll double side your commission. I'm looking for a distressed, rundown house that I can pick up for, under $60,000. And again, that's in my market, Ohio. Average house is like $150K. I'm looking for houses under $75K. Let me know. And again, so it's just a little text. The key is you have to stay top of mind, top of mind, top of mind. Do this. And like 3 months from now, like tell me how it's going from you. You will be so pleasantly surprised. So powerful. It's so great when other people are bringing you deals. Up here, you're hunting for the deals. Down here, they're bringing you the deals. Very simple thing. It's free to do. There's an endless supply of realtors. There's always more realtors coming about. And, it only takes 5 or 10 in your market that send you a handful of things every month. And you have more deals than you can handle. Okay? Facebook buy, sell, and trade groups. These are the garage sale groups. In my market, in any given market around the country, there's about 100 buy, sell, or trade groups, sometimes up to 300. You pull up your city, your metropolitan area on a map, all the little towns and cities and suburbs, those town names, if you type in in my area, it's Dayton, Ohio. It's like Fairborn, Beaver Creek, Kettering, buy, sell, and trade. Then it's Greene County, Montgomery County, Warren County, Butler County. Then it's area code 937, buy, sell, and trade, buy, sell, and trade. The cool part is these groups have anywhere from 3,000 to 65,000 people. And all you're doing is, going in there and making a really simple post. Hey guys, we're looking for our, an investor in the area. We're looking for our next fixer-upper property. Does anybody have a distressed property that they're looking to get rid of? We'd love to buy 2 more this month. Please send me a DM. Think about this. It's so powerful. The eyeballs on it, 65,000 eyeballs, 17,000 eyeballs on it. It's very common if you just go in there and post in 5 groups a day. So the sucky part about this is just, being diligent over a week or two to build this up to 100 groups. And then occasionally you might get kicked out of a group. Occasionally you're going to get, a comment that's like, hey, you spammer, you. You're not spamming anybody. You're just asking a simple question. Be very responsive, like people's posts, heart their posts, and encourage people, bring them right to a DM. It's very, very common if you do this, even once or twice a week. Very common, you're going to generate a couple or what we call Facebook organic leads a week. If you generated 3 Facebook organic leads a week, that's 12 leads a month. Times 3 months, that's 36 leads. You're probably going to do a deal or 2 a quarter. This is a free strategy. Now, if you start posting in 5 or 10 groups a day, you're probably going to do close to a deal a month, a deal every other month. So I have a friend in the industry, 7-figure investor out of Oklahoma. This is he's up on radio. He's up on TV. He actually does every marketing channel there is. This is consistently his number 2 or number 3 performer behind radio. Okay. This is his one of his top 3 always. Okay, 7-figure investor, a couple years in the business. This is powerful. So just want to share that with you. Another thing, if you're in the beginning, if you're struggling to get to contacts, calling for sale by owner. These people are selling their house. Now, a lot of times they want retail, but sometimes if you call 100 for sale by owners, you're going to talk to 1 or 2 that does have a problem property or problem situation, and you're going to do a deal. So there's tons of for sale by owners every single week, every single month in your area, in your market. So every single day, no matter what, hey, I called a bunch of executors. I called some D4D. I'm having, trouble getting a hold of people. Hey, let me go call 5 or 10 for sale by owners. Let me just, I don't care if they tell me yes, no, maybe so. I just need to talk with people. That's for sale by owners. Okay. For rent by owners is so powerful. Same thing. You pretend like you are searching for a single family house in your area, Beaver Creek single family house for sale, or for rent rather. And you want to stay away from the property management companies and reach out to the single landlords and see if they have any interest in selling. If they do, then you qualify them. And if they don't, ask them if they're still buying more rentals and add them to your cash buyers list. So you're doing 2 things there. So is it possible for you every day to call 5 for sale by owners and 5 for rent by owners? That's going to help you get to these conversations, and it's absolutely free. Another thing that you can do is get a very simple business card made. Don't focus on this in the beginning, but eventually you can have a black t-shirt that says I buy houses, and you can have simple business cards and just literally hand out the business cards. I'll have a copy of mine. It's very simple. You can make them on Vistaprint or Moo. Have 250 business cards. and just, hey guys, yeah, I work with a few partners. Like, we're buying houses here around the blank, Ohio area. We're looking for distressed properties, our next fixer upper. Sometimes we pass it off to a partner. I pay $2,000 referral fees. Do you happen to know of anybody that has a distressed house? Here's my business card. Keep me in mind. What if you handed out one business card a day, told somebody what you did, and you asked them for a referral? And then to take this a step further, what if you followed up with them 14 days later, 10 days later, 7 days later, said, hey, Johnny, I just want to follow up. It was so good running into you last week. Hey, I'm serious about those referrals. Like, if you know of anybody that has a house, like, we want to buy 2 more this month, I really will pay you $2,000 to $3,000 for that referral. Please keep me in mind. And then just like stay in touch with them, or if it's your barber, or if it's, somebody at the coffee shop or whatever, like, don't belittle or berate them. That's not the right word, but like, don't bombard them, but like once a month, just re-bring it up in conversation. Okay. You'd be surprised, just a black t-shirt with big bold letters, I buy houses, how much of a conversation starter this can be. Don't care. The t-shirt company doesn't matter. Again, this is almost free to do. You're paying for these. Get 5 t-shirts and wear them as often as you can. If you are doing this full time, or if you have an employer, obviously don't wear it to work, but like wear it outside of work and everything. Now, there are 268 probate attorneys in my market, and so this is something you can do without getting probate leads, without buying probate leads. In my opinion, it works better if you're getting me 200 probate records every month and it tells you who the attorney is, because then you can be much more specific. But basically, like, you're reaching out to these attorneys and asking if they have any estates that have a problem property that is needing to sell. And the cool part is it only takes like 4 or 5 of these relationships because some of these attorneys do 50 deals a year, 50 estates a year. And so out of the 268, I only need 5 that refer me a couple deals a year. And it's such a powerful relationship that can service up many, many deals for years and years to come. I go into a lot more detail about this in the probate roadmap, so I'm not going to go there now. Door hangers, whether we're out driving for dollars or just distressed in our neighborhood properties we see, check these puppies out. I love this over at Ballpoint Marketing. These puppies are 45 cents, and check this out here. There's 4 different types. Sell the property as is. We want to buy the house. We'll buy your house as is. We want to buy the house. Handwritten font. I'm Justin. I'm in your area this week looking to buy a fixer-upper as is. Bugs and all. For a full cash offer, call me at blank. Sell your house with no realtor commissions. We will buy this house as is. All right, so it's taking a little bit to come up here. And then no repairs, sell the house fast. So those things are 45 cents. Minimum order 250. So you spend like a little over $100. If you put out 250 of those door hangers on these distressed properties, you're probably going to do a deal or two. Just saying. So again, these are some low cost kind of like grassroots organic stuff that, like, again, the mission kind of back to the beginning of this video is like, not only is this going to get you to a $250,000 business, right? But like, I sincerely want you to like think about what I'm saying here, commit to this process, pick two of the three, okay? Again, 15 hours a week, anywhere from 15 to 30 hours a week, and like 5 to 10 hours a week here. I want you to commit to 2 of the 3, and the goal is to get you your first 15 to 20K deal or more within 60 to 90 days. And then from there, for you to reinvest 10 to 15% of that revenue back into this And maybe now you can afford to pay someone to stuff and stamp your letters. Maybe now you can go back and by now you've had 4,000 or 6,000 pinned properties, and we can send a couple postcards out every 60 days. And that's going to net 2, 3, 4 more deals. And then the revenue just keeps coming. And now you can, you can say, hey, like maybe I want to go check out radio ads. I don't teach radio. Maybe I want to learn Google PPC. Maybe I want to learn SEO or pay somebody to do SEO so I can have more inbound leads coming in. I don't teach those things. I'm very, very good at these things. And so that is the process here. I want you to hit that first deal. I want you to move this from faith to fact, hit that first 15, 20K deal, reinvest 10 to 15%. And then honestly, for your first 3, 6, 12 months, and I'm just going to say 12 months, if you just commit to these things here, this should be able to net you a deal a month minimum. This should be able to net you 1 to 2 deals a month. And between these two, you should be able to honestly be at $25,000 a month. I'm just going to use that figure, which is let me make sure, 300 grand, I believe. Yeah, 300 grand a year, just doing these. And then if you're adding in a few of these, you're eventually going to get to a deal a month here. And now you're going to be like 400 grand, almost a $500,000 a year business. And then, by then you're going to have more than enough revenue if you want to, start getting into radio, big time direct mail, SEO, Facebook ads, Google PPC, the whole 9 yards, attending events and masterminds and all sorts of cool stuff. So guys, I wanted to make this video. I know it's a little long. This is your custom marketing game plan. Sit down with your spouse. If you have a spouse, if you're doing this solo, look at your finances, figure out how you can, for the next 1, 2, 3 months, really cut back or figure out creative, resourceful ways of how you can really commit to this. But don't do it unless you're going to commit to the time and actually doing the work and this part, because, just buying probate leads or just downloading Deal Machine and Mojo Dialer and driving a couple times here and there, like it's just simple. And I hate to say it like this, but it's just like, if you do the work for 90 days straight, you will get the results. If you don't do the work consistently, you won't get the results, and it'll just be, wasted time, wasted money. But where there's a will, there's a way. Give yourself grace and patience, and you're not going to be perfect at this. I don't want to portray that I was perfect at this or am perfect at this. Just focus on getting 1% better every day, a little bit better, a little bit better. But these are very simple things that I want you to just commit to and work towards. And it shouldn't take you a year to get to this. It might not be perfect the first few weeks or the first month, but you're going to be able to get to this. And so, guys, I hope this was really helpful. Again, in the other roadmap, there's 10 hours of content here with probate. I've kind of given you the gist of driving for dollars, but I will probably do a few more, detailed videos on, Deal Machine or Mojo or Launch Control, the texting platform that I use. Again, you can do deals just calling them on Mojo. You can do deals just texting these 2,000 properties on Launch Control. You don't have to send out the postcard right away. You can cut corners with probate and say, screw it. I'm just going to get the leads and I'm not going to do the mail. I'm going to call every one of the executors, email every one of the attorneys, and just do that like a champ. I love this because you can implement it right away. It adds a lot of quantity. So if there's any way in your power to make sure, if there's any way you can add if you say, Steven, what's the best here? I would what I've kind of highlighted here is kind of what I would focus on. And then maybe, a few weeks into it, adding in 5, 6, 7, and 8. Bandit signs is just I go UZ marketing, and you can get 100 bandit signs for $100 or $200. And, if you put out 20 bandit signs a week, we buy houses, cash, and your phone number, a lot of times It's not the sexiest thing in the world, but as the market starts to turn, it's powerful. And if you put out 20, 25 signs a week, it's hit or miss, but more often than not, you're going to get a deal in that first or second or third month. And it's like, man, if you can spend a couple $100, put out those little signs, and then land a 15 or 20K deal, now you can either not put them out anymore because you hated it, or pay somebody else to put them out. And at least now you have the 20K revenue, and then you have, more marketing dollars for some other things that resonate with your belly a little bit better. So guys, I appreciate you. I believe in you. I hope and pray that this video has just been a whopper of a good thing for you, and it lands and it connects. And I just want to give you permission. The money is made in having simple, awkward conversations. Most people don't want to sell. Most people don't want to sell for a discount. We're dropping them into simple buckets here. You're going to have to make offers. These are discounted offers on distressed houses. You're going to get a little bit of resistance. You're going to get people, as you start reaching out to probates and these leads, that tell you to F off, go pound sand, you scammer, you crazy person, you, why are you reaching out to me? If you're not ready for that, that can hit with a little bit of a punch. You will get that from time to time. But when you see that homeowner that you can truly help, and you truly do help them, and you get these deals, it's awesome. And so I just basically wanted to share all of that. This is your game plan. It's time to dive deep, get to work, be super resourceful. You're going to have to figure out your area, exactly how the probates work. I've given you a lot of details, particularly in video 3. There's the FOIA Act, Freedom of Information. There's the classified journals. There's going down to the courthouse. You're going to have to talk to multiple people. These leads can be a little harder to get. The harder they are to get, the better they are. Don't give up. In the meantime, be doing these things then, while you're trying to get this set up. So I believe in you guys. And again, this is where you're at. You if you're not talking with 10 people a day, as far as actually making contact, which is probably going to be like 25 to 50 to 75 dials, you're just not going to be talking to enough people. You're not going to be making enough offers. You're not going to be making any money. You're going to get discouraged. But if you do it, you will make the money, you will get the results, and you will be able to scale your business. And so I wish it was, different or more sexy than that, but it's just, that's the truth. And so I love you guys. I hope you guys have gotten a ton of value out of this video. God bless. And let's go do some deals. I can't wait. I've given you everything you need right here. I want you to go generate the leads, okay? And then I want you to, send me over a little lead sheet. And, hey, Steven, I got this lead. I need to make an offer. I need to make an offer. I need to make an offer. And then I want you to get in the habit of making, again, lots of offers. And we're going to be doing deals, okay? So God bless. Love you guys. And let's do it. Let's get some deals.